on.
Good evening, come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening, come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Oh, we can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening, come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Krisha.
Hi. Good
It's
evening.
been a minute. It
It
has been a
has.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time
Have
you get back to work over here, the abuse is not going to stop itself. Anyways, I hope you had a good
Oh.
time. I did watch one of your live streams while you were there. I don't remember which day. I've been trying to get outside a lot more and cut my grass, my yard in quadrants. I'm building up my stamina, okay, because I didn't have any anymore. And so I just have the back little quadrant to do, and then
The
I get
back
to start
40.
all over again. Yeah.
The back 40.
So
Yeah, I think I only did a couple of lives there. I think I did one before we got started, but it was so jam-packed that I ended up not being able to do lives as often as I wanted.
yeah, it's like you get there, you have it on your mind or in your mind that you're gonna be able to do that. That's how I am whenever I'd go to her trial or like the sentencing. I'm like, oh yeah, and bring all your equipment, all your gear, and then you get there and you're like, I don't have time. I don't have time. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you're prepared,
I was for her trials, which is why I drove out there, because I had a whole bunch of equipment and I ended up not using like 3/4 of it. So I'm like, I can fly this time. I'm not driving to Denver and back.
No, I don't blame you. I'm finishing my stick right here, so that's what I'm doing.
So
But
I'm working on my new studio. This is version like 1.3, and it'll probably be like version 10.7, like Windows, before I'm happy with it.
Okay.
Those are supposed to be like LED neon type of things, but when you light them up, they get all blurry on my camera. So
yeah, I wonder if there's something you can do, because there's other creators that have those behind them and they work. So
yeah,
you could also maybe use some kind of craft paint that is fluorescent. I don't know. I mean, it's just an idea. And then maybe use a black light to shine that way. And then maybe that would make it glow. I mean, that's just an alternative. Yeah. I'm very crafty. I'm crafty. Who else in here is crafty? Are y'all crafty people?
I know Trace on the case is. I know she
Yes, she is. Definitely. I've gotten many a pictures from Trace, being crafty. But hey, welcome in, everybody. I'm glad y'all are here. I didn't really get to speak with y'all on Sunday because I had Justin as my guest, and
You had who?
yeah, Justin Riggs from LDS Abuse came
Who's
on,
that?
and
Do tell.
I'm cheating on you, Joe.
No.
No, no, I figured you like I would like to introduce you to, because he was excommunicated for partly for bringing up the research he was doing into these LDS abuse cases. And anyway, so that in
Wait,
part
what?
was,
He was excommunicated for that?
yeah, well, partly. So
Wow.
I mean, and
Yeah,
that's pretty
I
crappy,
know
but
it.
it's also
Yeah,
par for the course.
but you've been wanting to have him on for a while, right?
I mean, we've known each other for a while. Like I saw him on Twitter
But
at one point.
he's like a fellow research addict like you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Except he's way
Yeah.
better because because he has degrees and he was Mormon. So they're very, very organized people, and they're good at this stuff, and I'm not. So, but he had done a lot of research into this Bountiful case, and I have ran across it multiple times over the past 6 years, but I don't know it enough to speak to it, and I mean, so he appeared on We Are the People podcast, which was a couple weeks ago, I guess, and it's gotten a lot of good response, which is also good because these things normally don't get good ratings or good views. You're wanting to get the information out. So, other than that, it's like the silence complicity thing. It continues, because if it's not pushed out into the algorithm, nobody hears it. So, and it goes unheard.
Yeah.
So it's
Uh,
like a uphill battle always.
So I'm dropping the link to that in my chat right now. And if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it because it really is good. I was
Yes.
this afternoon.
Yeah, it was, huh? That guy Tyler was on there. Now, I don't know who he is, and he is smart because he is anonymous. I'm like, I don't blame you, dude. All you see is a black silhouette when he talks, but he
Yeah.
talks really well. And the stuff that is inside of these court documents is so horrendous that just speaking from a court document, you can be demonetized like that. You can be pushed down to the bottom of the algorithm, which again, it's not always about monetization. It's just about getting it out. I would gladly, I mean, my thing's flipped off right now. I don't have it turned on. And the one from last week, I don't have it turned on yet. So it's not that big of a deal, but it just kind of goes along with how they hush things. And if you don't speak about it, then it does not exist.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important for you and me to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, you more so than me, but I mean, if you can extend the fingers and the tendrils of knowledge out there, then if one of them gets chopped off for some reason, for some crazy reason, and didn't on that on the video we're going to go watch, what's that called?
We Are the People.
Yeah, We Are the People. They were cut off for a while, right?
I'm not sure. I know that they are being sued.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think they also lost their channel for a while, or their ability. Yeah, and so when that happens, it's important that all the rest of us out here keep up, even if it's on a smaller scale. We keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's all you can do as a person. Like that's all I can do. And it blew my mind because here comes elder or apostle Neil A. Maxwell, which if anybody knows, Visions of Glory, Chad and Lori's Bible, okay, their strategy of plans, okay, is by Tom Harrison. Tom Harrison is that LDS therapist, a child sex abuse therapist at that, who, I mean, wrote this book, and he also met with Chad and Julie in a Salt Lake City office to teach them how to portal. And anybody who follows the case of Lori and Chad know that they're portaling. We've made so many jokes out of it. I get it. But at the end of the day, portaling is what Lori saw as her gifts. She saw my uncle, she said this, as blocking her gifts. Melanie Boudreaux Pulowski, the same effing thing. Sorry. But I mean the same thing. Okay, so yeah, Neil A. Maxwell flies up in this case. And then Justin, he goes on to say that with all the research that he has done in these cases involving these rings in Utah, they Elder Maxwell comes up frequently, he said, in all of these abuse cases. And I'm like, huh. And Elder Maxwell is known for saying forgive and forget, for giving them blessings and saying forgive and forget, forgive and forget. It's like the Men in Black or something, like, zap, you don't remember it. Like, I don't get it. And so I've been listening since my live stream on Sunday with Justin. I went to Eternal Core on SoundCloud because that's where they have Ken Krogh and Tom Harrison's Eternal Core podcast thing that like Jody Hildebrandt attended. She's on one of the episodes. Tim Ballard's on a couple of them. And then there are other ones that I have not listened to. So that's what I've been doing since Sunday, is listening to these podcasts that Tom Harrison is in with Ken Krogh and guests. So there's one about Boy Scouts. There's one, I haven't gotten that far, but it's just, and I found out even more stuff about Elder Maxwell and Tom's time with him. I think it's important because Tom's like that guy that he's a mystery man, but he's so involved in every one of these cases. So that bothers me. Y'all know it does. So that's where I stand.
Yeah, and you use that phrase "forgive and forget," and I actually heard that at CrimeCon because that's so. CrimeCon isn't just what I thought it was going to be. It turned out to be a little bit different, and there is a lot about survival and surviving and survivors and victims.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the phrases that cults use and that manipulators use to abuse their victims is forgive and forget. And the LDS Church is one of those.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
just move on. Let the past go. Why are you hanging on to old stuff? Like, and it's gross. That's really gross. And this not even just this case, it's other cases that I've researched also. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I'm pulling up SoundCloud because Hoagie said episode 8 or 9 is cringe. So I'm like, what? Anyways. You there?
I'm here. Are you there? Am I supposed to fill in the blank here? Okay, I'll CrimeCon actually was so amazing. I already signed up for next year. I got to meet so many cool people. Where's Joe's bow tie? Okay, C Cheadle. C Cheadle wants to know where my bow tie is. So here we
Where's
go.
your bow tie?
You're going to see my bow tie. There we go. There's my bow tie.
Hold on, I gotta go there. Oh, shy baby. That's what we say over here. Okay.
So, see, Cheadle, yeah. So if someone hurts them, they're supposed to let it go. So that forgive and forget is if somebody is being abused and they go to their bishop in the Mormon Church. Most bishops have no training or background in therapy or treatment, psychology, psychiatry. They have no background in nothing in any way to help them in a healthy way. And most of the time, if it's a male figure in their life, they're told they need to forgive and forget. There are multiple documented examples of this.
And there's so many there's so many examples of bishops not they play with that whole mandatory reporter. Am I? No, it's spiritual. No. Even Bishop Glenn Pace, which is something that Justin pointed out to me or to us, Sunday was that Bishop Glenn Pace, although they didn't have mandatory reporting back then, if it's involving alleged murder and things of that nature, should he have called in to the police?
Okay,
Yeah.
so do not distribute. He turned it into the church, and they were not for distribution or whatever it was on the top of
Do
it.
not reproduce.
Do not reproduce. I
Same
won't go
thing.
down that path. Yeah, no, but do not reproduce, Mormons. Do not reproduce.
Yeah, right. They reproduce, man. They're on top of it.
But if that had been held to what the church wanted to do with it or not do with it, then nobody would know about it to this day.
Exactly. So whoever did that, I don't care how they did it. I'm just glad they did it, because other than that, we wouldn't have this huge piece of the puzzle to guide us, And
Yeah.
there are other reports that were by Bishop Glenn Pace that have still never been unearthed. But do you have the We Are the People podcast pulled up, or do you need me to?
I do, yeah, actually.
Okay. I'll let you do the controls, because
Okay.
I will never. Now I did some of this with my community, but we need to start in the beginning. I don't know how to get through it, y'all, because it makes me go. It triggers things, and then I go and I retrieve it and I try to work it all into the picture, which, I mean, I guess that's okay. Because if you want to see the episode in full, please go to We Are the People podcast and go watch it for yourself, please, in full. It's very good. It's very informative. How about that? And it's not gonna, it's not gonna let you down as far as information wise, but like, it's gonna let you down because it's gonna break your heart because of the accusations, the allegation.
Okay, here we go.
It should never happen. Yeah, I want to show actually Bewitched. She says, I think all places where children frequent need a posted notice of their rights. Well, I was one. And then again, this is just me and my rabbit holes, okay? Just, don't pay much attention to me, allegedly. But on East Idaho News, and I mean, I just happened to catch this. I'm going to grab it. Here it is. It is Nate Eaton. He interviewed behavior pair creator of CSI and I don't know how to say it. Schlep, the guy banned by Roblox.
Yeah, Schlep. He was there with Chris Hansen. That was the very first session.
Y'all are gonna hate me. Everybody's gonna hate me. It's because I just happen to notice these things now because I don't know. I've been learning about these things. Whether they're true and accurate is beyond me. I mean, really, and I still have to do deciding for myself as well. So I'm not saying anything, but so I did. I don't know if you can pull it up. I shared my screen.
Oh,
I just want to. You don't have to watch it. I mean, you don't have to hear anything or anything. We don't have to share the sound, but it was just something interesting, and I've noticed this with quite a few people in the true crime space.
Hold on. So what are you noticing? What are we supposed to be noticing?
I mean, I didn't write a time marker down, but hold on. It should be around here somewhere. Oh my gosh. Come on. There it is. All right. And now I'll play the sound. Notice his hand. His hands.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. It looks very intentional. Let me turn on what he's saying.
Currency to go to another platform to do something inappropriate with you. And half of the class raises their hand. I mean, that's how widespread this problem is. And that is unbelievable. I mean, and
I don't even recognize who that guy is. Do we know who that guy is?
Some of them are embarrassed. What if some of them don't even understand the question?
No.
Mm-hmm. And
was he the attorney that was up on stage?
Just an anecdotal.
I think he is. I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention. I don't even know.
the 4 people that were up on stage, Schlepp is the guy on the left, and he was one that was taken advantage of on Roblox, which is a platform that has sexually suggestive material that 5-year-olds can access all the way up through. But there are adults that go on there and they prey on minors. And he was preyed upon, and he actually attempted to unalive himself. And then he became an advocate against Roblox. And he was actually banned from Roblox because of his advocacy for getting rid of these, or eliminating the ability for adults to prey on minors on their platform. So up on stage with him, with Chris Hansen, was an attorney who is suing Roblox on behalf of, like, I think it's 800 now co-plaintiffs, and a detective from Florida who actually has investigated like about a dozen or more than a dozen instances of Roblox, people preying on minors on Roblox, getting several convictions, and in the process of, prosecuting several more. So I honestly don't recognize if that guy on the right was either one of those, was the detective or the attorney, because I'm way back, so I don't get it. I don't get a view of their face.
I just want to point it out because I don't know. I don't know if there's nefarious reasoning behind it, or if it's just natural for him to sit there with his fingers in a triangle.
I kind of
Look how
do that
vengeful that
sometimes.
looks. Look at that. I mean,
Yeah, I can't tell what's going on there.
Showcase of
just check it
how
out,
widespread this problem is, and it's unfathomable. And I think what is
does it
crazy
for quite a
is
while.
Roblox has created this problem. They've facilitated it, and rather than going after people who are trying to do something,
Maybe speed it up.
or rather than
going after the predators.
They go after me, who's trying to do something.
Right.
About
Tell
it.
us about that. So you go online to expose it on your YouTube channel, which has 2.2 million. How many?
2 million. Just hit 2 million.
2 million subscribers today.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Did they send you like a triple platinum play?
They did for 1 million. They gave me a little cool plaque.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 million. So you have a large audience.
Correct.
Is every single one of your videos about this?
Most of mine, yeah.
So most of your videos are about
all my
this.
videos since I started doing predator catching stuff. Yeah, pretty much all of them. Yeah.
And instead, what happens with Roblox?
I mean, Roblox has had very little safety changes. If not, they have only gotten worse since I started making these videos. They've only started cracking down.
It's just
when the Attorney
weird.
General of Louisiana filed a lawsuit, a massive lawsuit.
I think it may be a resting pose. I think
Okay.
it
What
may
they did
be.
was just all these games where everyone was
That's
complaining about.
Maybe. See how he's kind of nervously fidgeting his thumbs, then he brings it back in.
Finally
I
put
don't
them
know.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I don't either. You never know.
But I mean, it's
So
it's
what
something
would
that I've
that-
learned that they do. That
They do.
that
Who does for what? What is the purpose of that?
the people who are, like, let's say, into diddling children, into networking, like the network around the predators, like the predators that make up this network. Okay, whether, I don't know, they just communicate. I've heard. So now I'm trying to prove it for myself, or, I don't know. I'm just, now that I am aware that people have talked about symbolism and things like that, and how Chad and Lori talk this way, how Donna Adelson talks this way with her own family. I mean, it's not a far reach. It's not a far stretch, I've also looked on the FBI website about the symbolisms that they do use on these, to tell other P-files, hey, that's what we're doing here,
Well, Roblox is all about diddling children, so that is a really interesting symbology right there.
And I also think that if they shut this one down, they'll just open another one, just kind of like Backpage turned into OnlyFans, and they just transform is all. I don't think we can't even hold like the world's largest conspiracy down, I mean, look at Epstein is what I'm saying. Like, we can't even put him away. We can't even get to the truth on that. So I don't know.
And we probably never will.
I know.
Just like JFK, we'll never know the truth.
Do you, like, I don't I'll ask you first. Do you care about a list with Epstein? Do you care about an Epstein list?
I do. Yeah, I do. I
What would it
absolutely
do?
do.
What would it do for you?
It would tell me who's a liar and who's not.
Okay.
Like, and who lies about diddling children and who doesn't.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
He does it again. I'm just kind of waiting. I don't know. I was on my computer and then
Oh wait, okay. He just told who that guy is. I want to know who that guy is because I honestly don't
And
know.
that, of course, causes an uproar in the community. I mean, there's a real disconnect between this company and their community and their users. And they've, after denying it and after attacking Schlepp, they start to blame him and they start to say that he's the one who's actually acting like a child predator.
You need to go back to when Nate switches the microphone from Schlepp over to him.
Fake conversations with
Because because then I think that's when Nate says who he is. Hopefully, yeah, there we go, right there.
I haven't played Roblox since I got
They
it.
just said stay off our platform.
Stay off our platform, pretty much. He could speak a
I
little more.
want to go up higher than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Oh, he didn't say who he is.
Very
Come on,
transparent
Nate, you're a better
attempt to
interviewer than
somebody
that.
Who they thought they were,
Introduce your
put into
guest.
Silence.
As high as my
And
volume
they've
will
been
go up.
unsuccessful in that respect, but
I can hear it fine.
Schlepp has not done anything to violate either previously or currently.
Honestly, this
Roblox's
does not look
terms
like
and
one of the
service,
two
but
guys that was
if
up,
you look at
the
what
other
Roblox
two
is
guys that was
doing,
up on stage,
they're
the
acting like
detective
every
and
other
the attorney. He's not dressed like an attorney.
corporation would act. First, they deny
Of course,
that this is a problem.
he's catching him in like
And
a
once that
hotel lobby
argument
or
falls apart,
something. It looks
they
like
start to attack Schlepp, and they send him
Come
cease
on,
and desist
man.
letter. They ban his account.
I wish I'd have grabbed the
that, of course, causes
timestamps.
an
But
uproar in the community. I mean, there's a real disconnect.
anyways,
between
I
this
just noticed a
company
lot of
and
this
their community
lately.
and their users.
Yeah.
Because I didn't
And
know what to
somebody-
look for.
you know,
I didn't know it before.
Ms. Woozy says he is the attorney.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the
Okay, so
attorney, but I
he's-
don't remember his name. It's probably in my CrimeCon program. LOL.
I have my CrimeCon
Thank you,
program
Ms.
right
Woozy.
here.
It's interesting. That's all. I just kind of wanted to, I'm not full on bought in. I'm just noticing things. I won't even be looking for it. And I'm just like, oh, crap.
Well,
You saw what he just
it
did?
would- It would be way coincidental to have that going on in a case that involves child.
Really?
Pedos.
Because look at Tim Ballard is what I'm trying to say. That's where I'm at. And that's at the crux of this is the exploitation is so intense. It's so immense. Like there's so much exploitation. You have no idea because I believe it appears that a lot of the people who are claiming to do the good, okay, are doing the worst of the worst. And they're getting accolades for it by all of us and voting them into office. Or if it has nothing to do with politics, we are just giving them power and platforms. We're giving them permission. And,
how much more disgusting would that be if
I don't ask them for them questions.
if he was involved in a case about Roblox and Schlepp, and if he was really like sending out those signals?
I mean, most attorneys. Oh, okay, I would say there's more attorneys that are than not that are maybe into Freemasonry. And then you can't say all bad or all good. That's ignorant. It's a case by case basis.
Same as LDS.
Yeah, same as anything, really.
Yeah.
And when you get to a 32nd degree, then that's whenever, there starts to be more darker shit going on. Okay.
Stephen Vanderporten, the attorney representing Schlepp and now more than 500 alleged victims, minors who are reportedly exploited through Roblox's online environment. Stephen Vanderporten.
Remember that name, y'all.
Well,
Anyways, this is just one.
When they win this case, not if, when they win this case, he is going to win millions of dollars, or he is going to have millions of dollars come his way, because the attorneys in a class action lawsuit are the only ones that make money. I mean, literally everybody else makes like $5, $6.83, $12.19, and the attorneys make millions of dollars off of class action lawsuits because they get a third of the cut. So the other 2/3 gets divided up between all of the class action plaintiffs.
Huh. So I was taking SP Mama's advice to look at the symbolism for the triangle. A triangle symbolizes the number 3, which often represents balance, harmony, and completeness, appearing in concepts like the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in Christianity, or the mind, body, and spirit connection. Depending on the orientation and context, triangles can also signify divine energy, ascent toward higher knowledge, the phases of the moon, or the cyclical nature of time. Anyways, and now it's because Chad and Lori used the male female symbol. So did Summer.
You got to look at Biz Woozy's comment.
Oh, I'm not over there.
It's up.
How'd you do that? Are you an apprehender? A apprehendee? What do you do for a living? In the bathroom? Ew. Did it stink? Was it shitty? Very shitty day for that person. Right? Anyways, you're welcome. Busted. Well. Now ask Google to show you images of these triangles and one-eye cover poses. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I'm not fast, though. I'll tell you that.
So when you were driving through Texas, did you notice on their newer bridges? So Texas Star is the symbol, right? The Texas Star. They have those now on their newer structures. So they will stamp the stars on their like bridges and underpasses, overpasses, all of that stuff. Now they have the stars inside of a pentagram on their newer structures.
Well, is it inverted?
Kind of looks like it.
Oh, shocker. You know what freaks me out, though? Because I'm, everything has meaning. Not every, I don't look into everything, but, one of the things that I remember about my Uncle Charles was that corny joke he told me that time where he took a $1 bill and he folded it in half and he was like, "Do you see the wings?" And I was like, "Yes." And then he folded it again. He was like, "Do you see the wings still?" And I was like, "Yes." And again, do you see the wings? And I was like, "Yes." And he said, "Put your hand out like this." So I did. And he put the dollar bill on me like that. And it was like shaped like a U. And he said, "Now say wing 3 times." I was like, "Wing, wing, wing." He said, "Hello." Anyways, it's just one of those things where and I'm just like, oh no, man. Well, anyways, so here's all. Well, okay, there we go. So yeah, I have tons of these downloaded. I do. I've watched the guy. I forget who he is. He did a 5-hour video on exposing Freemasonry and this kind of stuff. But people will call you a conspiracy theorist faster than a cat can lick its hiney.
Even if it's true, it's still a conspiracy theory.
I know, right? But I think for sure that this, since I've opened my mind to this kind of possibility, I've found it all kinds of places in Tylee and JJ and, in Lori and Chad's case. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's just like whenever you see a certain type of car, one day and you become aware of it and then you see it everywhere after that. For some reason, it's weird. Anyways. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough to go into it, in depth. I need to. One day we'll go over it and that's how I learn. I have to throw myself into stuff. But it's on the FBI site, this is how they communicate. This is it. And the portal stands for one of those things,
All right. You want to start watching the video?
Mm-hmm. I took mine down so you put yours up. How many of y'all believe in that? I mean, I just want to know.
Believe in what?
Or if you're open to it being true. You know, the communicating with symbolism stuff.
Oh,
I'm
I
curious.
absolutely believe they do. Well, we all kind of communicate with symbolism, you know, to some level or another, but it's when it's a huge.
How much of our communication is just body with our body language?
Right.
Hot dose. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say.
All right. Let me find the play button. There it is. I found it.
Good to have you back, baby.
Few and far between these days, but yes, it's good to be here.
It's been a wild year, and we're thankful to all of you for, you know, those who've been fighting along with us and supporting us. I'm going to ask right out of the gates, and you're going to understand why when you get into the show. Please go to our website, wearethepeople.org, and scroll and subscribe to the newsletter. You can understand why. We've been deplatformed before, and not from Google or not from YouTube, actually from someone who hacked into our email. And so we know there are a lot of people who do not want this information out. We are literally under a lawsuit. We're $40,000+ in, and we're not making a lot of friends. And so if you value this content, we ask that you subscribe so we can continue to get you content. I'm actually going to read the intro today because it's the significance of the content. I don't want to just wing this, but let's roll into this. It's with a very heavy heart that we're filming this show today.
You can probably pass this up.
As Alexa and I have spent countless, as Alexa and I have spoken to countless victims.
It's quite a minute.
As it
Abuse and LDS Church cover-up allegations now resurfacing again. At least 6 people suing the daughter and son-in-law of Church President Russell M. Nelson.
Jim Stewart looked through decades-old allegations. Jim, there are claims of abuse on kids as young as 1 year old.
That's just one of the allegations in this 79-page suit. The defendants filed a motion to dismiss this thing. They want it thrown out. Their motion is 141 pages. Here it is right here. I read through all of them today, and the defendants, they are going to put up a fight. The allegations of sexual abuse stem back to the 1980s, accusing a John and Jane Doe of an LDS Church leader that held touching parties and sexually abused kids as young as 1. The suit claims after the victims came forward, church elder Neil A. Maxwell blessed them and told them to forgive and forget. The suit claims if church leaders had taken further action with police, the abuse might not have happened. But it wasn't until court records to dismiss the suit filed Wednesday in federal court show that the John and Jane Doe defendants are actually Church President Russell M. Nelson's daughter, Brenda Miles, and her husband, Richard. In their dismissal motion, the Miles deny all allegations. They claim the victims only came forward after meeting with a psychologist alleged to be at the center of a satanic ritual scare back in the 1980s.
Nope, they're the ones.
The LDS Church was not named as a defendant in the suit, but because it involves the daughter and son-in-law of President Nelson, the church sent a statement saying, in part, these allegations of interference or cover-up are baseless and offensive. Law enforcement investigated this matter in the 1980s and took no action against the church or its leaders.
I wonder why.
So I asked the attorney for the plaintiffs why file this now, and he responded by saying because these alleged victims now have a voice, they want to be believed, and they want justice for living with the shame and pain of what happened to them as children. The defendants go on to say that the statute of limitations has passed, and that is grounds and a basis for this suit to be thrown out. We have.
Did you see that lightning in the background?
That's God telling you. Just saying.
I'm going to back it up like 30 seconds. It's just lightning.
Law enforcement investigated this matter in the 1980s and took no action against the church or its leaders. So I asked the attorney for the plaintiffs why file this now, and he responded by saying because these alleged victims now have a voice, they want to be believed, and they want justice for living with the shame and pain of what happened to them as children. The defendants go on to say that the statute of limitations has passed, and that is grounds and a basis for this suit to be thrown out. We have put a copy of this claim, this complaint, up on our website, KUTV.com, if you would like to see it. It has been fully redacted. Guys, back to you.
I hate when their lips don't
Six
match.
people known only as John and Jane Doe have filed a lawsuit alleging sexual abuse and a cover-up by prominent people within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Today, some of the alleged victims spoke to Fox 13.
Abused me my whole childhood.
The lawsuit alleges 3 children were abused by their father back in the 1980s.
We were certainly bribed with candy.
It also claims the children were also repeatedly abused at touching parties that involved Richard and Brenda Miles, the daughter and son-in-law of LDS Church President Russell M. Nelson.
Weren't believed, that they were ostracized, that they were almost treated like lepers.
Fox 13 does not typically name alleged sex abuse victims, but some of the plaintiffs agreed to talk to us on condition we not disclose their identities.
Victims need to be listened and heard and have a voice.
So just real quick, brief us on the time period that we're talking about here for for these activities to have gone on.
So I did actually look this up. How did you know? Okay, I'm just trying to open that window. Hold on. Okay. Let me delete this. Okay. So there's a chronological list of documents, media reports, and occurrences with relevant links. And so I got this from a website that has this all compiled. And so it says in 1982, Marion Smith, the psychotherapist, becomes first director of ISAT, ISAT, one of the only organizations in Utah devoted to the treatment of child abuse. And it's from a blip there and a blip here and a blip there archive. I'll share the link in just a minute. In 1982, approximately Dr. Barbara Schmoe, a PhD social worker, clinical director of ISAT. So she worked for Marion B. Smith. 1984, Arvin Shreve founded and became alleged leader of the Zion Society cult, the one that Mike King took down in Ogden, Utah. And then in 1985, the Lehigh, I have a presentation if you, I could share it that way, not just staring at each other. I'm not gonna. Well, I guess I could.
Or Charlie staring at you, or off to the side.
Yeah. Okay, so right in 1985, the Lehigh ritual abuse scare began when Ms. Sheila Bowers of Lehigh contacted Barbara Schmoe, concerned by inappropriate sexual talk of her 3 children. At first, a babysitter who was the daughter of the bishop was implicated. Then her parents. Schmoe asked to interview other children. Schmoe held a parent therapy group which Alan Hadfield and Rex Bowers attended. 40 adults eventually implicated. Dr. Paul Whitehead represented the Utah Psychiatric Association and supported Schmoe against increasing opposition to her methods and findings. I'm going to take a drag.
1985 July, Marion Smith was allegedly asked to give Relief Society talk on abuse at church meeting in Bountiful. In July 1985, I was asked to give a lesson to my ward Relief Society on the symptoms and treatment of child sexual abuse.
Yeah. 1985, July 1985. Arden Brett Bullock's neighbor, you can tell this is the way it's spelled, Bountiful, took her 4-year-old boy to Barbara Schmoe on recommendation of Marion Smith at ISAT because she was worried about inappropriate sexual comments to 2 other 4-year-olds. On second meeting, it emerged that boys had allegedly been sexually abused by 2 8-year-olds, one of whom was Brett Bullock's son. Oop, I hope it didn't go twice. Okay. You want to go?
Oh, yeah. 1985, October and December 13th, details on development of Bullock case. Although Dr. Schmoe documented few of her interviews, she did conduct 2 interviews in the presence of state officials. In October of 1985, Dr. Schmoe interviewed one of the boys at the Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office. Approximately 2 months later, on December 13th, 1985, Dr. Schmoe met with 3 of the boys the 3 boys' parents, a Bountiful police detective, and 2 county attorneys from the Salt Lake County Attorney's Office. Wow.
Yeah.
During this meeting, Dr. Schmoe interviewed the boys one at a time in front of each other. This is wrong.
Why?
This is wrong.
Yeah.
Interview the boys one at a time in front of each other and the other people present. This is wrong. That is not a forensic
No.
sexual
I
abuse.
mean, I'm not even an expert, and that don't sound right.
That is not SOP for a forensic interview in an essay case.
Yeah. So 2 of the children described incidences of abuse that corresponded with what they had previously told Dr. Schmoe, but one boy, who had been pressured by his father to report the incident, denied that he had been abused.
Of
So
course.
he was pressured and then he denied it.
Oh my
That's crazy. That's
There's so
backwards.
much wrong with this. Yeah. 1985, December, boys in Brett Bullock's case referred to Dr. Ann Tyler, psychologist and executive director of the Family Support Center. Her assessment was that all 4 boys were likely sexually abused. She recorded all interviews.
And then in 1986, in January of 1986, according to Marion Smith, Janice, a baby tender used by both of her daughters, was implicated by a child victim in the Bullock case. I'm sorry.
1986, January, Mother 1, who was Marion Smith's daughter, and perpetrator heard from Marion Smith that their babysitter Janice was implicated by a neighbor's child. Bill, perpetrator, insisted his children be interviewed and made an appointment. Bill is the perpetrator?
Yeah, Bill is Marion's son-in-law. So Marion owns ISAT, and Bill insisted his children be interviewed by ISAT with Barbara Schmoe. So he insisted. So he was actually Bill Carstensen. He was he went to, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the place. It'll come up later.
Wait, but the babysitter in the sentence above that, it says the babysitter Janice was implicated by a neighbor's child.
She was.
Are
It's a
Janice
ring
and
of
Bill?
people.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and Bill's mom too.
Who made an appointment at ISAT with Dr. Barbara Schmoe. Initially, Schmoe clears the children of being sexually abused. On hearing their sitter was implicated, Schmoe interviewed one daughter for 2 hours. When she provided a claim of abuse by the babysitter, later claimed she had also been abused by 2 unnamed teenage boys as well. Mother 1 allegedly meets with Bishopric, who were viewed as helpful at first.
And I believe one of the 2 teenage boys is somebody that Justin mentioned that we'll hear in this video here soon, was David. Oh my gosh, Brian David Mitchell. You know who that is?
No.
He kidnapped Elizabeth Smart.
Oh. And he's allegedly one of those 2 teenage boys?
Allegedly. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The other one allegedly killed a little girl. Casey Woody is her name. I haven't looked into it, but I want to. It's on my list.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, okay. Defendant 1 was second counselor in Bishopric and was absent from this meeting.
I would be too.
Okay, that's just the link. There you go.
1986, January and February of 1986, Jane Doe 1 allegedly reveals to Mother 1 that Defendant 1 and Defendant 2 held touching parties. Apostle Nelson turns up soon after and sits with daughter at sacrament meeting.
Okay, so what I learned from this was that Defendant 1 and 2 are Dick and Brenda Miles. And Brenda is the now president and prophet of the LDS Church, Russell M. Nelson. And so he shows up at the sacrament meeting and sits with his daughter. So he's an apostle who shows up and sits with his daughter, and it clearly would draw a lot of attention, right? And so he basically showed his allegiance. I look at it as kind of like an intimidation tactic,
Yeah.
you know?
Like, because he's an apostle and she's sitting in the
Mhm.
regular congregation, and he goes as an apostle and sits in the regular congregation. That doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
with
Yeah.
his daughter.
Yeah.
So in 1986, February 13th, Jane Doe 1 allegedly asked Mother 1 what difference was between what the difference was between what Defendant 1 and Defendant 2 do in Daddy's marriage lessons. So Bill Carsonson, I'm sorry it's written this way. I didn't do it. But Bill Carsonson would say that a part of his abuse he would say that they were marriage lessons. And so basically this child is asking their mother what the difference was between what Dick and Brenda Miles are doing allegedly and Daddy's marriage lessons. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know I don't say that is great, but okay. Your turn. Or you want me to go?
1986. No, I got it. 1986, February 13th. According to Marion Smith, Mother 1 phoned psychiatrist. Are you guys taking notes? You should be taking notes. Who Mother 1, Defendant 1, Defendant 2. According to Marion Smith, Mother 1 phoned psychiatrist Dr. Jan Stout, who died in 1993 on September 25th, who had provided marital counseling to the couple the previous fall. Dr. Stout talked Mother 1 down, and expressed his opinion that he didn't think it was possible perpetrator was a child molester.
That'd be Bill Carsonson. And he was diagnosed as a pedophile.
Yes, but it's interesting that a male doctor was like, I'm skeptical of that. I don't think that's not what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good old boy.
Mother 1 allegedly called Barbara Schmoe, who made appointments for all the children for the next day.
I'd have done it. I'd have made an appointment. If you could do things differently, I'd have done it somewhere else, out of state. I just can't trust anybody.
You can't trust anybody.
It goes in high places, So February 14th, 1986, Marion Smith and Mother 1, which is her daughter, allegedly take 6-year-old daughter to Barbara Schmoe. The meeting is recorded. Marion Smith is allegedly in attendance whilst other family members remain outside. 6-year-old describes marriage lessons with perpetrator, which is Bill Carsonson. Barbara Schmoe phones the police. Marion Smith allegedly phones husband, who is a skull and bone, allegedly. He's also, I'm just saying, he's also a skull and bone. His name is Nick, but he's a good guy in this story. Okay, so there's that. But he's also friends with Elder Apostle Neil A. Maxwell. So there's that part. Okay, so Marion Smith allegedly phones husband and asks him to bring perpetrator Bill to office. In the meantime, Schmoe interviews Jane Doe 1, who confirms what younger sister had said. Marion Smith, her husband, Bill, and their daughter allegedly meet with Barbara Schmoe. Bill allegedly says, quote, "I don't remember anything. I don't know what they're talking about, but my kids don't lie." Marion Smith allegedly suggests therapeutic help and encourages perpetrator to acknowledge his crimes. Okay, sorry, it bled in.
February 17th, 1986, Mother 1 allegedly, that sounds familiar, allegedly takes children to Hawaii where parents own a home.
Ain't it though? Okay, 1980s. Okay.
I got this one. February of 1986, perpetrator allegedly committed himself to the inpatient psychiatric ward at LDS Hospital under the care of Dr. Mason Redd. Dr. Redd decided perpetrator Bill was so beaten in life, so psychologically downtrodden, that he didn't believe anything
he'd believe anything.
Yes, he'd believe anything he was accused of. I had to reread that.
Yeah.
He saw perpetrator Bill as helpless and innocent,
Lord.
a victim.
That's it. Yeah. February 1986, and ongoing, Marion Smith alleges other daughter's children see Barbara Schmoe. They both allegedly gave vivid details of how perpetrator abused them and that he was at parties at the home of Richard and Dick Miles. I'm sorry, Richard and Dick and Brenda Miles. Okay. Anyways, allegedly, defendant 2 was one of his daughter's best friends. According to Marion Smith, quote, the children were often at each other's homes, unquote. These daughters were allegedly taken to Dr. Ann Tyler, who gives her expert opinion that they had been abused by Bill, perpetrator 1, or perpetrator, I'm sorry, defendant 1 and defendant 2, which is Dick and Brenda Miles, allegedly, and at least 2 babysitters. Okay. All righty.
1986, March. Perpetrator Bill admitted to Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, I didn't write it.
Maryland for 6 weeks for psychiatric evaluation and treatment. So that this like begs the question, does being mentally off like excuse any of this behavior at all?
But this is, I believe, where they diagnose him as a pedophile.
I didn't know that was I didn't know that was a diagnosis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about it, like, so I can't speak to it, but I know it. They do like psychosexual or something test where they can see if looking at photos of like young children turn you on, arouse you, or I don't know. I don't know enough about it to talk about it.
Right, but so there's obviously criminal statutes against that sort of thing, and you can be criminally charged and convicted and sentenced and put on a registry as a pedo, but is there a psychiatric evaluation determination of that?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Maybe
Somebody can answer that. Yeah.
I think Trace would be good and knowledgeable about. She is good and knowledgeable about this stuff. March, April 1986, according to Marion. Did I read the last one? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
I don't either. No, you did. According to Marion Smith, Bountiful police had virtually dismissed the case against perpetrator because neither of her daughters were going to allow the children to testify. They had been concerned by the suffering of the children in the Lehigh trial. My note, this is not my note, but anyways, there is a contradiction here in dating because the Hadfield trial didn't begin until 1987, allegedly.
Okay. 1986, March and April. According to Marion Smith, a case in Salt Lake City was filed against perpetrator Bill and his mother because Bill's mother lived in Salt Lake.
So I guess that, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to understand it.
Mike George, investigator for Salt Lake County, interviewed Bill. Oh, they didn't put perpetrator that time. That's funny.
Kidding, huh?
They've been putting perpetrator the whole time, and all of a sudden, oops.
And they say it down there. Yeah. Oops.
The investigator for Salt Lake County interviewed Bill at Johns Hopkins. George allegedly believed perpetrator, now we're saying perpetrator again, to be innocent. So right there in those two sentences, we know for a fact perpetrator is Bill. Like, there's no guesswork. Yeah. Why don't they just say Bill the whole time? Or,
I don't know.
I mean,
I'll have
to be innocent, allegedly believe the perpetrator to be innocent? Like, that's not your job, dude. Your
He's
job
just an
is
investigator, right?
And if children were not going to testify, there was no case. Okay, that
way
that may
around
be,
that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how they do now. They'll put them on Zoom or something, or like the children who were I want to say adults at what's his name, whatever, Craig, the guy who murdered his wife Angela. Dr. Craig. You know, some of his daughters went on stand and they had their support animal there to pet, and the jurors never knew it, you know?
Right,
So there's
right.
things and ways to go about this now, whereas, you know, I guess not back then, but
Nope, not in 1986. Leslie Lewis and Karen Knight Egan of Salt Lake Attorney's Office allegedly told the Miles. So the Miles are the people that are the subject
Dick and
of this.
Brenda.
Dick and Brenda Miles are the subject of the current lawsuit, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the the lawsuit has been whatever. Wait, how do you say that? It's been denied. I don't know. With prejudice, so they can't ever bring it back up again.
Okay, so we're going
Or
to
is it
learn about
without
that in a little bit.
I forget. I don't know. The with or without prejudice thing kind of confuses me because I forget how it goes, and I don't know the proper terminology. So I
Anyway, the
apologize.
Salt Lake Attorney's Office allegedly told the Miles they believed the perpetrator to be guilty, but there was nothing they could do.
Wow. I'm reading that last sentence again. That's crazy. A blip here and a blip there. 1986.
Dismissal with prejudice ends a lawsuit or criminal case permanently. So it was with prejudice.
Yep. So 1986 ongoing. Barbara Schmoe seeing another family. What? Barbara Schmoe seeing another family who tried to get justice for their children and who were allegedly also at the touching parties. Marion Smith names them as the Thomas family.
1986 April, according to Marion Smith, at the request of police, all 4 children were taken to Dr. Martin Palmer at the Primary Children's Hospital for verification of the abuse and to assess medical harm. Medical harm? What about psychological, emotional harm?
What about diddle harm? Right? And spiritual
That's
too.
not funny. That's not funny.
I mean,
sorry.
you have to. You can laugh. You can take this liberty and you can laugh, okay? Because it's ridiculous.
Diddle harm?
I mean, like, I don't want to say
that's so not funny, but you caught me off guard.
Horrible. Sorry. It's aggravating though. It's frustrating, you know. Dr. Palmer found no question of their abuse after allegedly giving them medical exams that upset them. Well, there you go. There's your abuse, Dr. Palmer.
1986 May. According to Marion Smith, Johns Hopkins requested daughter's presence in interviews with Bill before his release. Whoa, Johns Hopkins requested daughter's presence in interviews with Bill before his release.
Weird.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Marion and her husband were allowed in one interview with the Bill and therapist. Marion Smith allegedly recorded the session. Wow, if we could get our hands on that tape. Holy cow. Perpetrator allegedly discusses parties organized between defendant 1 and the babysitter, depending on who she was sitting.
That would be Bill and Janice, the babysitter.
He allegedly confirms attendance of defendant 1, defendant 2, his mother and friend, whom he names Dan, at 3 different properties: mother, defendant 1's, and perpetrators, and during daytime.
Actually, defendant 1 would not be Bill. He's perpetrator 1. Defendant 1 would be one of the Miles, whomever was named first. Okay. Oh, Dan. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to learn it too. So June 1986, perpetrator Bill is released from Johns Hopkins with a principal diagnosis of pedophilia. Okay.
Wow, that is a diagnosis. Interesting. In 1986, sometime after June, Neil A. Maxwell. So tell everybody who Neil A. Maxwell is again, for the record.
He is somebody. He was an apostle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and was friends with Tom Harrison apparently. And so in the foreword or whatever of Visions of Glory, it says, I'm just going to read a blurb out of it that way, because I'm not good at condensing. Just not.
Neil A. Maxwell gives blessing to family of perpetrator. Give blessing to family of perpetrator. That's why.
Because a bunch of kids got diddled.
So the blessing is going to, okay, I allegedly mentions how Bill has made terrible choices, blessed for comfort and to be able to forgive and forget. Holy cow. There it is.
Mind control, man.
There it is. Forgive and forget. After all of this diddling, just, I hope you have comfort and you need to forgive and forget. What a twisted pile of crap.
Okay. I don't know if you can share my screen.
Yeah,
or is
hold
it, did it share?
Actually, I think I see it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So I pulled up in the We Are the People video of them talking about this. Okay. So.
About the abuse I suffered at the hands of my father and the Mileses. The poem is attached as Exhibit A. We're going to read a small portion of that in a little bit. Elder Maxwell was a friend of my maternal grandparents. Elder Maxwell gave me and each of my younger siblings a blessing by laying his hands on my head. During that blessing, he said something to the effect that the abusers had made, quote-unquote, horrible choices. He talked about how God would be the judge of these adult abusers and that I needed to forgive. So I want to stop there and pause for just a second, because I want to acknowledge that this apostle, Neil A. Maxwell, is acknowledging and giving credibility to these allegations. Let that sink in for just a minute. My dad, Bill Carsonson, Perp, baptized me when I turned 8 years old, during the time that he and the Mileses and others were doing these terrible things. After disclosing the abuse, I expressed a desire to be rebaptized, as I believed my original baptism was tainted and should not count, because my father was not a worthy priesthood holder. This request for baptism was granted sometime after Elder Maxwell gave me a blessing. All right, let's go through and just read a small portion of these heartbreaking journals and poems that Jane Doe 1
She's got to be like 10 years old.
8 years old. She's 8 years old at this time.
Are these the journal entries that's in her writing?
These are typed up.
We'll have a link to the journal entries that she wrote in her writing. And I'll tell you, when you read it in these things in this little girl's journal, it'll break your heart, seeing these. I believe these kids, and it just breaks your heart that this stuff goes on.
All right. So, first poem.
This is bad.
Daddy, I hate you. Daddy, I do. You have done wicked things. And the Mileses, Sister Miles, Brenda Miles, has too. You have made me suck on your penis and took me to your awful mom's. She's worse than you. You have tricked mommy and lied to her too. You took me to the Mileses, and I'd like to hate you. I truly do hate you. Way worse than I would hate to eat mud. Daddy, I would like to strike you dead. But the good part of you I love more than my own head. We're in Hawaii. I miss you so much. We've truly had such great fun. And read so many stories and had so many treats. But Daddy, I miss you the most when we're on the beach.
So conflicted.
It's heartbreaking. You can tell she loves her dad,
She's messed up.
But she's been
Of course she
trauma
loves her
bonded.
dad. Trauma bonding. Of course she loves her dad, but that's why this stuff's so evil.
Goes back to Bishop.
All right, bear
Pet's
with me
thing.
1 second while I bring up, because these, right now, what we're going to be looking at on the screen are some journal entries that were written by the mother who spoke them, the Jane Doe one spoke them to the mother and she wrote them down. But then as you can see on the screen, she scribbled heavy crayon over the top of it. So I was only able to ferret out a portion.
You know, this is why I'm so upset about, Stuart Adams, the president of the Utah State Senate, is, trying to minimize penalties for, adults abusing children. And you've got Todd Weiler, another Utah State rep, pushing for legislation to minimize penalties for trafficking. And when you see, again, Utah being, the number one state for child abuse, and this stuff gets covered up. I mean, Lexi and I, we're talking to victims too many. And, and too many times where it's covered up by the church. And again, I'm not here on a war path against, church. I love the church. I love the gospel, but I have no tolerance for anybody who covers up and allows little girls like this to continue to be abused.
And
little boys.
Yep. Don't forget the boys.
All right, this first portion, and again, I'm just reading excerpts. I am so angry at Daddy and the people who touched us. When we move, it is going to be so fun to be away from this horrible, rotten, disgusting, stinking people.
Oh.
I want to burn up the dress that Grandma gave to my sister. We are going to burn up everything the wicked people gave us. And at the bottom, you can see, I feel, ... I feel, ... I feel. Next page, new journal entry. I feel sad about growing up because I have to leave behind my toys and start paying more interest to friends. And so I start paying more interest to my books. But growing up is fun too, because your body start changing, so you start changing and you get smarter. It was good, we told. Even though our prayers weren't answered the way we wanted them to, because we wanted the wicked people to just stop without us telling. And I told the stake president the articles of faith, and he told me what they meant. He kept telling me that I had to have faith. I felt better after I talked to him. It was like throwing up. Why don't you drive me out to Dr. Whitehead whenever I'm feeling bad? I hope Daddy will get better so that Mommy won't get married to somebody else.
Oh.
Is there a
Oh
cross?
my gosh.
Emblem?
Yeah.
Girls with the white
How
head?
twisted is that?
It's very twisted. I mean, but I don't blame that kid at the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But imagine all the stress going on in that child's life, all the decisions, all the just, oh my God.
And all the confusion. There is so much
Mhm.
confusion there.
Having to grow up fast now, because of this wicked stuff. It's evil. It's so evil. I'm sorry, I'm pulling something up. Okay. So Tom, I just want to give like a little brief whatever. So the main character from the book Visions of Glory, who is Spencer, pseudonym, founded Eternal Core. He invited Jody Hildebrandt to be part of it and featured her on the Eternal Core podcast. In addition, Tom also compares himself to Yoda and his Eternal Core program to the Force. Says that the Eternal Core principles will help people heal from mental health issues because of the spiritual principles it utilizes. Says that we all have a memory of living before, and Eternal Core will help people unlock those memories. Says that when he establishes a higher level relationship with his clients based on the Mormon definition of spirituality, a relationship that is more than the doctor-patient relationship, He is able to be like Yoda to his patients and help his patients access a higher level of knowledge. This is something that Lori has said in her interviews, recently. And then this is okay. It says that death is a person's carcass being burned up. This really weirded me out. Okay. Says that, quote, when we hook people into that eternal process, it's amazing what happens. The energy around it. They have transcended beyond that degree. They teach us how to move into that space, which allows all knowledge, all healing, all movement forward. I'm sorry, unquote. He says, quote, God-centric healing is bringing where you are with your God. This isn't just Catholic or Muslim or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or Jewish or people who believe in the universe, unquote. So there's that portion. And then I also have Tom Harrison is well trained in various therapeutic approaches, including cognitive therapy, psychodynamic therapy, reality-oriented therapy, and relationship therapy. Since 1977, he has been practicing in Utah with a clinical license. Now, I've heard since then he has retired, so allegedly. I'm just throwing that out there. Throughout his career, he has taught at the U of U, University of Utah's medical school, graduate school of social work, and has also instructed in conflict resolution and divorce mediation at the law school since 1977. Harrison possesses postgraduate training in areas such as depression, anxiety, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse, sexual addiction, and post-traumatic stress disorders. He has successfully counseled over 3,000 survivors of sexual abuse. With a deep understanding of dissociative disorders, he has contributed to the neurotrauma team at 2 hospitals. Harrison works with individuals, couples, and families. His typical treatment duration ranges from 6 to 12 sessions. He also conducts mental health diagnostic interviews and provides consultations, typically lasting 1 to 3 visits regarding sexual intimacy, mediation, legal matters, and trauma-related issues.
Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
So once again, pull us back in. Who is Harrison one more time?
He's the guy of Visions of Glory who would meet
Right.
with Chad and Julie to teach them how to quote unquote portal, which is astral travel, which is remote view, which is astral projection, whatever.
So read that last
Which is
sentence
Lori's
again.
gifts.
Read that last sentence again, and then we can go on. I just wanted that to impact people a little bit to understand the relation to Chad and Lori. And
yeah. And Tim Ballard too. He's given Tim Ballard a blessing, at least one blessing, saying that he was going to be the future prophet of the Mormon Church and the future president of the United States. And he would give him ketamine treatments. So
well, he can make the last one happen.
Right. He also conducts mental health diagnostic interviews and provides consultations, typically lasting 1 to 3 visits regarding sexual intimacy, mediation, legal matters, and trauma-related issues. Known for his personable approach, he addresses relevant issues efficiently and professionally. And it says, I'm way above it. With over 30 years of experience, Harrison often helps resolve problems swiftly and sustainably, minimizing costs for clients. He is well versed in both traditional psychotropic medications and alternative approaches. And so I'd gotten that from his LinkedIn a long time ago. So, well, good God. And here, Chad claimed he could move through portals, an idea taught by Tom Harrison, aka Spencer from Visions of Glory. They both believed in multiple mortal probations, as taught by Julie Rowe. This is also, I believe, where we heard the line, we were married before in a past life. I believe for sure. I believe. Now, this is just me. I don't have any way to, substantiate this yet, but I believe it came from Tom. Tom has allegedly done this with one of his clients. And that was shared in the Mormon Stories podcast with Lauren and Mindy and Megan. So I always want to go pull things up because I like to bring receipts. I hate it.
Right. And
I
you
hate
do.
that.
You do.
Let's see.
You brought more receipts to your victim impact statement than anybody else. And not that you have to bring receipts to a victim impact statement, because all
I
you
didn't
need
know.
is to
I
tell how you
didn't know.
feel. But you did. And that was awesome.
But you did. Not thank you. All right, hold on. Now I've got it pulled up. I'm just looking for it in the transcript. If you just give me a second, I will do that.
Yeah, you got a second or 2 or 10 or 30. But if you get up to 30, I'm going to have a hard time filling the gap.
Oh no.
I met Vinny Politano at CrimeCon.
I love him.
I made my first appearance on Court TV. Did you know that?
Say that again? Yeah, I saw you. I saw a picture of you.
Right? Yeah. Yes, I was in the studio audience. I was not a featured speaker on Court TV yet.
You're not a correspondent just yet, huh?
But what was funny is I'm standing behind Vinny, like directly behind Vinny on the screen in my Braves jersey. And he's a Mets fan. And we actually had a talk the night before. Like we ran across each other in the hallway and he saw my Braves jersey. So we stood there and talked baseball for like 10 minutes. And that was pretty cool. He's very down to earth. He's very approachable.
He
but he's
seems that
also
way.
a Mets fan. Yeah.
I've had one of my viewers, she had emailed me and she was like, here's Vinny's number. She's like, but you didn't get it from me. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing nothing with it then.
Right? What
That's
are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know who you are if you're here. Thank you,
Right.
girl. But just a little too weird. I don't want to,
Yeah.
not being in true crime space is like, yeah.
Well,
No.
the very first thing, so Nancy Grace was there too, and Ms. Woozy met Nancy Grace and interacted with her, which was really cool. And I didn't take the opportunity to do it, and I kind of regret that. But on the other hand, people like Nancy Grace and Vinny Politano and all of the other huge
There's
like TV
Politano.
personalities, the very first thing that they do, like when you approach them with a story, is they evaluate how many viewers are going to look at this story when I air this story. It's a dollars and cents thing.
Yeah.
And
I don't get that from him though. And I mean, I'm pretty good at that. I mean, through this process
I had a little one-on-one conversation with him for a few minutes, and I got that from him. Like that was his first question for me about this case that I'm covering. He's like, so where's the nearest big TV market? I'm like, yeah.
Don't know. Not my monkey.
I didn't actually. I was like, yeah, Denver maybe.
Right.
Denver may be the nearest big TV market.
I have this pulled up. I don't know. If you want to share.
Sorry. Oh
on,
gosh. Do I need to ask
Ponto.
for permission? Do I need to ask her for permission before I air this?
This is Mormon Stories podcast. No, you just credit them and then that's it. That's all you have to do.
Okay. Send me the link so I can put it in my description.
Okay.
You're up.
Europe.
Every single one of these people we've
I'm gonna leave this up.
mentioned. Jody Hildebrandt, she knows good and evil. Your interview with Jesse, she says that
All right, I sent it in chat, regular chat.
Okay.
It freezes up for a second. I'll send it in private too.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and start again. Sometimes the stream gets interrupted. So I'm going to just, when that happens, I'm going to pause people because audio gets lost. Keep going.
Yeah. So this light and dark is a theme. Good versus evil, light versus dark, zombie versus pure soul, whatever you call it. This is a theme with every single person. And it is the most important thing. Tylee and JJ were killed because they were dark. They were zombies. And Jody Hildebrandt decides that people, including children, are light or dark, good or bad. Tim Ballard, I have now from a very close source that I spent hours on the phone with, that Tom Harrison was telling Tim Ballard who was light and who was dark in OUR. That comes from a very reliable source. And now we see Tom Harrison can tell who is light and who is dark. And so you have to wonder Is there a Wizard of Oz behind all this? You know,
Yeah.
this notion, this theme. This is a very important point that every single one of these people has in common. And Maurice Harker, who, right, we'll get to him too. But
yeah, and I'll just say, lest we leave all the culpability at the feet of Tom Harrison, it is a standard Orthodox core Mormon doctrine that Mormon priesthood leaders have the gift of discernment to be able to tell if somebody is in their office to get a temple recommend, or if they're, the ability to determine someone's worthiness, core Mormon church doctrine, and the ability to decide if they're wicked or not, or to even get premonitions based on the gift of the Holy Ghost, all core Mormon doctrine. So this sits on a foundation of modern day 2023 core Orthodox Mormon doctrine and theology. Am I overstating it?
No, I think that's right.
Is that what you were taught?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of my patriarchal blessing is discernment, and we heard the term discernment a lot in the church, and I think we put a lot of value in that. I think that's why we have anxiety when we go into a bishop's interview as a teenage girl.
Okay, hold on. I thought that was it, but hold on. If I don't pause it, then it'll keep resetting, and so let's see. Continue. Interesting. So I have this talk as well. This one, it's with John Pontius, and he also wrote it inside of his book. But I'm basically just trying to. There's so much to keep up with, so it's hard. Okay, let's see right here, maybe.
Modern Mormonism, drinking a cup of tea or a latte or not paying 10% of your income to the church is enough to keep you out of the temple. And yet writing this apocalyptic book that has wreaked so much havoc, again, gets you promoted as bishop, who gets to decide who goes to the temple and doesn't.
And Tom Harrison works as a temple ordinance worker in Salt Lake Temple.
Like, I think our priorities of how we determine worthiness, I don't think we should be determining worthiness at all. But if
when I was a
it
teenager,
just seems like our priority.
When I was a teenager, I lied to the bishop about drinking caffeinated beverages because I drank Mountain Dew. Oh, no, it was Mellow Yellow, actually. I drank Mellow Yellow.
They call me Mellow Yellow.
and that would have kept me out of the temple if I had been honest about that with the bishop. Like, drinking Mellow Yellow would have kept me out of the temple, but Lori got to go every single day.
Yep. She was like, either give me my temple recommend or I'm going to commit murder. Anyways, I'm sorry. Okay.
Priorities are askew.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Maybe.
Yeah. So there was a lot of talk amongst the Chad Daybell, Julie Rowe crowd about spiritual gifts. And I think our next clip is about Tom talking about spiritual gifts. And we decided to use this clip instead of the book one because we got tired of the AI voice.
I don't think it's AI because you can hear him breathing. Unless AI breathes.
But how
then he's done.
Hold on. I'm still like, oh crap, where'd my thing go? Hold on. All right, let me try and think of what they say around that that's better. Client. Let me try client. There's only 2 of those. Okay, here. Yeah, that's much easier. See?
If anybody remembers, dearest children, God is near you. Verse 2, dearest children, holy angels watch your actions night and day, and they keep a faithful record of the good and bad you say.
Wow.
Of course she remembers verse 2 of dearest children.
Yeah. And later we're
That's
going to play a
Megan.
clip where Tom talks about the deceased ancestors of his clients helping inform his advice to his own patients.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
So the next clip is about Spencer decides that he's going to leave the waiting room and wander around the hospital, and he wanders into the office of one of the doctors who is working on him.
Oh my God, I'm about to be mad. Hold on. Did we already see this?
Things about the church, but it did make me remember that I believe we heard that Tom Harrison currently now decides whether
That was
missionary.
this one, but okay, I'm about to give up.
Give up? Not yet. We're
Source.
so
I know
close.
I'm not good at I'm not good at giving up. All right. Okay, I hate when it does that. Okay.
Walk and talk. Walk and talk, people.
I can't read and talk.
Yeah, you don't have to. We're just everybody can walk and talk.
Okay, here we go.
All right, hold
Good
on.
save.
Let me put this
That
back
I
up.
have that on the Daybell side,
Two
we
sources.
have,
Hold on.
well, but I do need to say this comes from three very concrete sources that I have that on the Daybell side, we have two very concrete sources letting me know that Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe were meeting with Tom Harrison in his office. And then I have on the Harrison side, someone that knows Tom Harrison saying Tom was meeting with Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe in his office. And so though I want to point that out too, while they don't show up on the banner, it's more than just seeing the book. I had been hearing of these meetings. So I want to put that out there because 2019 is a really important year. And I do know that it wasn't just that Chad and Chad liked his book. He was meeting, according to three very concrete sources, he was meeting with Tom Harrison as well. Chad also.
Super important. Thank you. Okay.
And I mean, it goes on to say that, one of the clients of Tom's alleged that he brought her to the temple when she was young and said that they had been married in a past life. So that's really all I was trying to get to. But, so there's that.
Yeah, but the Julie Rowe connection was explained to me this weekend at CrimeCon. We had a lot of conversations about this with Megan and Lauren, mostly with Megan, but Ray Hermosillo postulated in that session at CrimeCon that it was about sex and money, and it didn't have anything to do with religion. And I kind of disagreed with that.
Charging indictment. In the charging indictment, it said due to religious purposes, for religious purposes. That's what Rob Wood said in the charging indictment.
Right. And I think and my opinion is, and was stated over the weekend, that it was a lot more about religion for Lori and a lot more about sex and money for Chad, because and when he saw Julie Rowe's successful platform, that's what he changed his lame ass platform to emulate hers a little bit more.
I have a different theory.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, I thought that for a while, but it appears that it could be a group that was tasked to do this kind of infiltration, and they kind of network together and they build each other up. And, it's to further move that conspiracy along because it's a way larger conspiracy that they're a part of, I believe.
Okay. What part of it does Julie Rowe play?
Moneymaker.
In your opinion.
Because I believe, according to April Raymond, she had asked me a while back, and I still haven't gone to look. Okay, so don't come at me. But she had asked me one time, which April Raymond was a friend of my uncle's and Lori's in Hawaii, that Lori actually propositioned her to leave her two boys and go join and be a translator being with them. So I think it's more of a nefarious group that's going on, where it's all about nonprofit organizations and raking in the money for the furtherment of this larger band of Gadiantons, if you will, who are doing this inverted stuff. When Lori says second coming of Jesus Christ, that really means, from what it appears, it means the New World Order. Okay. So it takes more than just a couple people to do that. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
If so, but it's like they go. It's like no kids are allowed. Obviously, we can say that about New Jerusalem. We can say that they speak in this religious tongue, mafia-esque, okay? Because you can't make sense out of it, and you can't hold them accountable. When David Warwick was on the stand and he was just talking about religious mumbo jumbo, you're just like, what? But they know what the hell they're doing, okay? They're not stupid people. I mean, allegedly. I don't know. That's out
Yeah.
for the jury.
A really bad nightmare might not be a really bad nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying it would be Tim in my hypothetical conspiracy network. It would be Jody, Tim, Chad Lori. I just went blank. David Hamblin, like all these people who are doing these inverted things, all the way to Mike Lee, all the way to Mitt Romney, all the way to President Ballard, President Maxwell. I would say even the president prophet of the church, allegedly. I hope I'm wrong. Anyways, it just seems to be a concerted effort. And I mean, it goes further back in history, like Ezra Taft Benson. I think I have a big old book like this that I got at DI, which is Deseret Industries, of one of the presidents. And I mean, he has a Mason ring on. And I'm just like, well, damn, there's that on the front cover. And I mean, anyways, that's what it appears to be to me. So it's like they talk in these layered jumblings of nothingness. Like everybody has shut them down. Oh no, it has nothing to do with religion. Okay, no, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't. But they exploit it. They use it to communicate with. That's how they talk to each other. Then because I mean we have Janet Russin, who is a psychic and alleged intel for Operation Underground Railroad to go find Gardy Marty via remote viewing, okay, allegedly in a third world country, which they never found him. Anyways, there's that. But I'm just saying there's a lot of double speak going on here, and it's not meant to make sense. I mean, I've in like a little setting or whatever, I will have read some of the Book of Mormon, and then it takes me over to the Constitution. Okay. And then I'm like, oh, Christopher Columbus was what? Okay. Nephite. What? He was a Nephite. Like there's just all these convoluted beliefs that make no sense. But then if you think about Nephite, Nephilim, that makes sense. Underdog, undercover, in my opinion, made by the government, for the government, and justice for nobody but the government. Anyways, that's me. That's Scientology too, in my opinion. But okay. All right. Now that I laid all that weird shit out. I mean, I don't know how to make sense of it. It's nonsensical to me too. So
sometimes you gotta
it ain't
talk
my
it out.
conspiracy, okay?
Sometimes you gotta talk.
Yeah.
You gotta talk it out.
But I sound crazy. And I'm like, I need to write a book that's called It Ain't My Conspiracy. It's not mine.
I'll write a book that says I'm not a psychologist, so I can't certify you're not crazy.
Yeah, not crazy. Jody Hildebrandt wrote a book that said you are not enough.
Really?
Yeah. You are not crazy. So Huggy Bear and anybody that knows, am I spot on with that? Okay, just want to know. Thank you, Janet. Okay, good. So I'm not cray all by myself. Okay. Yay. And but I believe he was put up to copy Julie, if you know what I'm saying, because they all came out on the scene about the same time. It's an infiltration, an infiltration, and if one of them goes astray, it's like meant to not give the rest of the group away. The rest of the conspiracy gets to continue on. Some people have called it a hydra cult. You cut off one head and like 2 more appear. So it continues on, but if you get caught up and tangled up in some legal stuff, then, better luck next time. I'm just saying. They still have to protect the group because of the vows the oaths that they took. You have President Russell Nelson, who not only has the temple oaths, but also the skull and bone oaths. I mean, who are they loyal to? Anyways, so in Visions of Glory, real quick, or nothing real quick, but he has in the very first part in the foreword, it says apostolic friend. This is from Tom Harrison, and he's talking about Neil Maxwell. We met in his office a week later, and he told me this story. Quote, all of these years I have felt painfully alone because of not being able to speak of the things I have seen in vision. They have become a bigger part of me, who I am, and what I am doing in my life, and I am constrained to silence. Quote, until speaking to you, I didn't even realize how they could come to full accomplishment in my life, especially knowing my personal circumstances, poor health, and weaknesses. I have always known they were true, but only until recently did I even suspect how they could come to pass. I have been persecuted. Sorry, that made my eyes roll real heavy. I've been where'd it go? I have been persecuted and rejected the few times I opened up, even a little. I have been very alone in this for a long time. It has been one of the hardest parts of this journey. One of my assignments for the church has taken me that learn how to write. One of my assignments for the church has taken me to the church office building in Salt Lake City. I meet with various general authorities and have come to know and love them personally. Over the years, I have become good friends with one of the members of the Quorum of the 12. We became personal friends, and we have, as he was inclined to say, quote, broken bread together, and spent wonderful times visiting on numerous occasions. One evening, while alone with him, he's talking about Neil Maxwell, I was prompted to tell him one of my experiences. He listened with great interest and then concluded by telling me it was from God and that I should treasure it up in my heart. This is forgive and forget, dude. Okay. That I should treasure it up in my heart, write it down, and not speak of it until the Lord told me to. He also counseled me to not try to interpret the meaning of it. He said, quote, when the Lord wants you to understand it, he will send someone or give you the meaning. But until then, it is God's will that you keep these things to yourself and don't try to interpret them without further revelation. Unquote. My apostle friend became a staying power and source of much comfort for me. He became a source of security in this vale of tears and my source of peace that what I was seeing was of God and not something of which I should be ashamed of or fearful. Spencer looked down for a few moments before he continued. So Tom looked down for a few moments before he continued. When he looked up, he was almost in tears. Quote, when my dear friend died, I mourned his loss I'm sorry. God, I hate reading her shirt. When my dear friend died, I mourned his loss as deeply as if he were my own father or my own child. I could not rise above the grief for a long period of time. I felt that not only had I lost a dear friend, an apostle of the Lord, but also the only person on earth other than my wife to whom I had been given permission by the Lord to share my experiences. They like to talk. Tommy boy. All right. And then I don't remember. Okay. I mourned his death for months. At times, I had no desire to eat or sleep. I found it hard to function properly. I was sinking into depression. Okay. Then one night, I was awakened by someone standing beside my bed. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was just suddenly awake. I sat up and realized that a heavenly messenger was standing beside my bed. The same messenger had conducted me through many prior visionary experiences, and yet I never knew his name, nor was I allowed to ask it. I moved as if to go out of bed, and instead of stepping back to allow me to do so, he just smiled at me. Anyway, skip. He said, Spencer, and I knew, so he said Tom, and I knew why he had come this time, because my dear friend, the apostle, had asked him to. So Tom is saying that this heavenly messenger woke him up 2 o'clock in the morning, came because Elder Maxwell, who went to heaven, he says, one of the kingdoms, sent this heavenly messenger to go talk to him. Okay. So there's that. He radiated love. Yeah, I know. It's wild, huh? It's like this, a couple little sentences. Trust me, I don't want to read this anyway. He oh my God, he radiated love and concern as he continued, quote, you should not mourn your friend's passing so deeply. He is troubled by your sorrow for him and knows that you realize that he is very happy, finally at peace and free of pain, and is going forward with his work. He loves you and therefore asks that you cease to mourn for him. So, let me just see what else. Because it's because of Neil A. Maxwell that Tom didn't publish this book till after Neil Maxwell died. Okay. So I guess the Lord told him to. It says this, okay, I'm skipping down. Spencer said he believed this was one of the reasons. Whoa. Spencer smiled and said no. Okay, hold on. Shit. Okay, let me just read it. God dang. Y'all going anywhere? I felt willing to do anything the angel asked me to do, and I felt the sense of deep loss and grief quickly melt away. A quiet peace replaced the loss in my heart. Oh, yeah. Right. But I had one more question for him. I said, I no longer have someone the Lord has given me permission to talk to about my experiences. I guess I was mourning that loss as well. The angel smiled and replied, I understand, but only for a little while longer. The Lord will send John Pontius into your life. He will understand you and your visions. You can tell him all that you have experienced. He will help you understand them as well. Just be patient until then. Spencer told me, so Tom told me, that the angel gathered the light back around himself and vanished. Whoa. Spencer laid back down and after a long time fell back asleep. Spencer Tom. Spencer looked at me in a John. Okay. Spencer looked at me in a penetrating way and added, quote, when you first called me and asked for an appointment, it was then that I realized your first name is John. I began from that day to ask Father most earnestly if you were that John to whom the angel had referred, unquote. Anyway, so I'm just saying it was a very pivotal. He played a big role, obviously, in Tom Harrison's life, which, okay, I mean, whatever, I'm not trying to poo-poo this man's life, I'm not, but I also I want answers. Okay. And I don't think that's such a big thing that I'm asking, like it's not. Quit acting persecuted is what I'm saying. And say what you know, because you're holding a lot of freaking answers, in my opinion. So right here, I'm going to share this with you real quick too. This is Eternal Core. This is Daryl Alder explores the meaning of, I don't know, it doesn't say. The meaning of Eternal Core with founder Tom Harrison. He talks about Elder Maxwell. I think I have it on the
other
right.
people helping. Now, this woman tested, she had groups of thousands working on intentions. One day, she just decided to see what would happen with 8. And the reason why
Power of 8
is that she was thinking about Christ's 12 disciples, his apostles.
Okay.
And she said, wasn't it interesting that Jesus selected a group of 12? I wonder if that's the right size, if you don't need thousands. What if 12 people pray for one thing to see what would happen? But she didn't have the right numbers, so she just divided her audience up into 8s. And among the 8 people, I guess if you get any 8 people together, someone's going to have a need that they're not afraid to articulate. And there were 10 groups. And the next morning, after they had done 10-minute intention, 8 of the people stood up and gave testimonials about the change. So that's where I was reading. I'm in the emergency room. They're telling me it's a TIA. My wife has lost vision in her right eye, use of her right arm, and her right leg. And I text 3 groups of 8 I could count on. And by the time the neurologist walked in, she could use her leg. She said, I'm getting my feeling back in my arm. And suddenly she could see. It was like it went down and then just came right back out. And there's some residuals.
Sorry.
But
Given
wow, this
context.
power. Tell me what you think about that.
I remember
Power.
a conversation I had with Elder Neil A. Maxwell, who was an apostle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we were talking, we were involved in writing a manual, and we were talking about the universe, which he called the pluriverse.
Oh no, there's hold on.
Because he believed that it.
But Tom also has a chapter in his book about the universe, okay, and about folding it up like in a pocket or whatever, something like that.
Wow.
Just know that. So, I mean, a lot of that tells me right there that that came from Neil A. Maxwell,
Right.
an apostle.
Right.
So, again, here we are. So, let me back it up. Just
Had
it's hard.
different layers within the structure. And
Did I go back enough?
I was out Neil A. Maxwell, who was an apostle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we were talking, we were involved in writing a manual, and we were talking about
Emmanuel.
the universe, which he called the pluriverse.
Oh.
So look, I'm looking at Folding the Universe, his chapter on page 81 of his Visions of Glory book. And it says, I asked, quote, does the earth have a tunnel of light, unquote? The scriptures inform us that the earth is an intelligent and living thing. He answered, quote, yes, God provided a similar means for the movement of the earth to where it is now. I'm sorry, to where it now is, unquote. I then experienced, as if I were actually there, how the earth, quote unquote, fell from where it was created and moved to where it is positioned now. I had the impression that it took thousands of years for it to arrive. The image I saw appeared to me to be a folding of the universe. It looked like the universe was folded in on itself, like a sheet of thick paper or fabric, so that where the earth was created and where it was to go were on, oh my God, I hate the way they talk, were on top of one another. The earth was then moved from where it emerged and physically, quote unquote, transitioned to this new position. This moving of the earth occurred during the entire creative process. By the time it arrived, it was prepared for mortal man. These planes are not truly universes because they are less about infinite stars and suns and worlds as they are about God's organization and exaltation of all his creations and his assigning unchanging glory and laws to each plane. Human language does not give us adequate words to describe such things, nor does human intelligence give us the ability to understand such things unless our minds are opened for a moment. I don't feel like reading anymore. They're long-winded, man.
Yeah, they are.
But I'm gonna play this a little more because he's gonna tell the most wild. I'm like, what? what? Because I wrote it because, there's no transcript on this platform. So I had to kind of write this part down. It was not fun.
Because he believed that it had layers within the structure. And
Taco Tuesday.
I was trying to get my head around and my heart around this concept he was talking about. And
let's not forget, he is talking to Tom Harrison, explores the meaning of Eternal Core with founder Tom. So this is the meaning of why he founded Eternal Core with Ken Krogh.
He intimated initially that the same structural process that the great creator, him believing that Jesus Christ was the great Jehovah who created all things. And one of his favorite lines was, "In Christ, all things hold together." So he was using that analogy with me. And he stated, Tom, you have a universe inside of you.
Wow.
Because to an atom, there is as much distance from the top of your head to the bottom of your foot as there is in the entire universe. And
it's like Men in Black. You have the entire universe
learning
on your
how to
collar.
control and deal with this body.
Where is it at? Oh, okay.
Over the years.
I couldn't find the window. I'm sorry.
No, it's like Men in Black. You have the entire universe on your cat's collar.
I'll have to revisit that one. It's been a long time.
You don't remember that from Men in Black?
Uh-uh.
It's on Orion's belt. Orion was the cat who had a collar, and the universe was on the cat's collar, like a little.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know what's going on here, man. I just know that I had to land in the most boring pool of people this side of the Mormidor.
Mormons lean towards science fiction, though. Like that's not an irrelevant relationship.
Just like his Obi-Wan and
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's also used in MK Ultra programming.
Yep.
And I mean, he is a therapist with the skills to hypnotize and program someone. Maybe some people that went to visit him in his office. Just maybe trying to nudge people's minds there.
Decades that you have this body, the more you understand how to deal with the universe that is inside of you. Because in his faith, he believes that someday we will be responsible for a universe and all the creations within it. If we move to the highest degree of the glory which he believes in.
And so he's talking about, again, Elder Maxwell, Apostle Maxwell, and also the name of his book is Visions of Glory. 3 degrees of glory are the 3 levels of heaven in Mormonism. So I'm just tying that in.
That started really making sense to me because the more in my education and in my learning, I've learned about the body and I've learned about the foot and I've learned about the knee and the muscles and the sinews and the guts and the intestines. And
he left out some body parts, man. Just saying.
And I've been in operating rooms where I've seen them, trying to.
So last night when I was writing writing down what he was saying, I was like, why in the F would he be in an operating room? He is a therapist. Can somebody riddle me that? But Tim Ballard refers to Tom Harrison as a brain specialist. So, I mean, I don't know what we're doing anymore.
With an intestine where someone is.
Right? I mean, does that make sense?
No.
Really making sense to me because the more in my education and in my learning, I've learned about the body and I've learned about the foot and I've learned about the knee and the muscles and the sinews and the guts and the intestines and I've been in operating rooms where I've seen them, trying to deal with an intestine where someone has stabbed someone and there's a hole in the intestine. And they hang it up on this hook
and literally it stretches all the way to the ceiling, and then the gloved surgeon is looking for and finds it, and then either has to take that part out because it's necrotic, it's died, and then sews it back together, and then through gravity they move this down, and all these intestines find their way inside this body, and then they sew it back up. I thought every time I would see that after that, or experience.
Every time he would see that after that, how many times has he seen people's intestines hung from the ceiling by a hook and then strung along and then piled back into the body? What are we talking about?
Experience something in the operating room, I would say, oh my goodness, he was right. Because it's like they know where they belong and they know how to fit in there. And, when you've strung an intestine all the way up to the ceiling, you think, how are we going to stuff it back in? I mean, how are we going to get that spaghetti back in the box? But it's amazing to see how hearts know when they're wrong and the symptoms, how eyes know. But when we have the power of people who also have these pluriverses, these universes inside of them, how those things work together, and the power of these functioning bodies has great power over settling the difficulty in another one. And for 8, it really works amazingly.
It is.
So when they say 8, they're talking about the power of 8, the power of 8 people praying. Okay. they're trying to make that a science, basically. Okay, so we can leave this alone because it's horrible. I'm going to grab that link and share it too. And we can get back to the this, okay? To the timeline. Allegedly. Yeah. So let me throw that link in. I'm sorry, I'm not writing. Oh, it has it on there. Okay. On the link. Okay. Thank you, little Brandon. Yeah. So 1986, sometimes after June, Neil A. Maxwell gives blessing to family of perpetrators. So family of Bill Christensen. Allegedly mentions how perpetrators made terrible choices, blessed for comfort and to be able to forgive and forget. Okay, your turn.
1986. Through 1986 and for many years afterwards, Dr. Paul Whitehead, Utah Psychiatric Association, treats children of Mother One. Who is Mother One?
That would be Bill Carsonson's wife. That would be Marion B. Smith and Nick Smith's daughter.
So that's also Bill's children, perpetrators' children?
Yep.
And
Bill ends up committing suicide.
Oh, spoiler alert.
I know. Dun, dun, dun.
And confirms that in his opinion, they were sexually abused by perpetrator, that's Bill, and defendant 1 and defendant 2 by 3 people?
The Miles. What? Actually, more than that, because the grandma too. And the babysitters, I'm sorry. It's a ring, Yep. So in December of 1986, a Utah jury convicts Brett Bullock of 3 counts of child abuse, 3 counts of sodomy. Feature of defense was concentration on Barbara Snow's methods. So that's what they're doing also when they're combating and defending themselves from these accusations. They're saying that it's because of Barbara Snow, and they're trying it. Basically, what I learned from Justin Riggs telling about it is that, and I mean, he didn't say this, but I'm saying it. It appears that the church's first instinct to defend itself, they are the ones who throw out the satanic ritual abuse term, insinuating that it comes from false memories because of this Barbara Snow, because they trashed her ass a long time ago, basically, because of the way she would try to retrieve memories, okay? And I mean, it's a whole controversy and it did a lot of damage. The False Memory Syndrome Foundation is a hoax. Okay. It's a hoax. It's the people who actually developed or created the False Memory Syndrome Foundation. They were actually perpetrators who allegedly abused their daughter. I don't know how many kids they have, but for sure they allegedly abused one of the daughters. Okay, so they created this False Memory Syndrome Foundation to basically smear victims, allegedly, and to do a great deal of what do you call that? Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Okay. Misinformation and disinformation. I couldn't think for a second. So it's like, it's done a lot of harm in this area, especially to the victims, who these children hadn't even dealt with that. Like, anyways, I don't know. It's the first thing the church does is say, oh no, it's because of this, and it's satanic panic, and it's a conspiracy theory. They do all that shit. Anyways,
1987, the trial against Alan Hadfield, Lehi. Why is Lehi in parentheses there? Is that Lehi, Utah, like a location?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, because Lehi is also a name in the Book of Mormon. Yeah.
But no, it's a Utah.
Okay. Feature of defense against children's testimonies was the issue of Barbara Snow's methods thought to be coercive and questionable by Dr. Stephen Golding, who is the director of clinical psychiatry of where?
Don't know.
Me either.
1988 perpetrator, Bill, having never been convicted by the state or disciplined by the church, remarries. Right? He allegedly begins abusing the children of mother 2. So of his new wife, he starts abusing her children as well. And so number 2, it says Jane Doe 3 and 4 and John Doe 2. See 2018 lawsuit. Okay. Jason's right here. So you might have to.
1988.
I gotta mute myself for a second.
You got a what? Oh, 1988, May 16th. That was 8 days after my 18th birthday and about 2 weeks before I graduated high school.
And 13 days after mine. Went on my 10th birthday.
Deseret News article, Brett Del Porto and Joanne Jacobson Wells. Child abuse experts decry investigators' claim.
Okay. Alrighty. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to skipping one. In 1988, various documents relating to appeals by Alan Hadfield.
1988, December 16th. Oh, I think that was finals week at Purdue, the first semester of my freshman year.
Yeah, you had a good memory. I don't remember anything.
I remember that very vividly. That was finals week. I do remember that. Deseret News article, Joanne Jacobson Wells, relief, anger, greet end of Lehi sex abuse probe. Many Lehi residents expressed relief Friday over news that the Utah Attorney General's office is dropping. Why are they expressing relief over news that the Utah Attorney General's office is dropping a long-term investigation of alleged widespread child sexual abuse in a Lehi neighborhood? Why are they expressing relief, or why is she reporting that they're
That's what we're
relief?
dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. It's like, it's not, and this is just me looking from an outside view looking in. It just seems like a lot of people seem to be torn, and the cognitive dissonance thing comes in heavy.
Okay,
And
there you go.
they can't believe that the same ward they go to and you know what I'm saying? Their kids are around. And then so when people start blaming, victims get ostracized. They get character assassinated. They get threats. They get murked, you know? They get silenced over and over again. And it's bullshit. It's time for this shit to stop, in my opinion. Whitehead said that because these trials are so difficult to go through, as evidenced by reactions by the Hadfield children who became physically ill when testifying against their father during the trial. I am pleased that the state requires a very high standard of proof before they embark on a full-scale trial. What? But I mean, he's a good doctor, apparently. I don't know.
Prosecutor said that the troubling issue for the Attorney General's office was not in determining that sexual abuse of some children had occurred, but rather in proving beyond any reasonable doubt who committed the abuse.
Probably the one that was labeled pedophile. 1989, March 3rd, Deseret News article, Ellen Fag, Gay Hadfield describes dream world gone bad. Ew.
1989, October 28th, Brett Bullock's conviction was upheld in Utah Supreme Court.
In 1989 and 1990, Utah Supreme Court, State versus Tuttle, hypnotherapy not reliable enough to be used in court proceedings. All right.
That's pretty
So
standard.
David Hamblin does that, you know, too.
1990, February 22nd, Alan Hadfield, Utah Supreme Court, evidentiary hearing is permitted.
Quote, we therefore vacate the trial court's denial of the motion for a new trial and remand this case for an evidentiary hearing on that motion, including, of course, the question of whether defendants' proffered evidence may properly be regarded as newly discovered. Defendant, of course, will be required to comply with the Utah rules of evidence in his offers of evidence. Because of the continuing pendency of that motion in light of this holding, we do not address further any of defendant's challenges to the underlying convictions. Unquote.
February 24th, 1990. Oh my gosh.
What?
That was my ex-wife's birthday following month or the following year. Oh no, before we got married. We were married in 1990. But it was after we met. Wow, February 24th. Interesting. Deseret News article, Jay Evanson, Hadfield gets a chance to seek retrial. High Court grants hearing to evaluate what attorneys say is new evidence. Hadfield contends Schmoe's counseling techniques led the children to testify against it. Hadfield, I got to read that again. Sorry, people.
Yeah.
Hadfield contends that Schmoe's counseling techniques are what led the children to testify against him.
Oh,
So
she
it
made
was
him.
so it was coerced testimony against Hadfield, according
That's
to
what
Hadfield.
he alleged. Is, yeah.
3 of the 5 Utah Supreme Court justices said Hadfield should be given a chance to present that evidence, overturning a rejection by a lower court. However, 2 justices said the evidence was either old, irrelevant, or inadmissible.
But doesn't that right there kind of remind you or reminiscent of David Hamblin case?
Absolutely. Yes.
Like it just struggles to get any legs underneath it. June 28th, 1990, Brett Bullock's petition for I don't know how to say that. Certiorari. Certainly, no, denied by U.S. Supreme Court. Whatever the hell. They shouldn't write words like that. So here, this is Mike King. I just want you to know the task force on ritual abuse.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so Mike King was at CrimeCon and he had his own session all to himself for an hour talking about the FLDS and the
He also
caves.
whitewashes the Daybell case.
I haven't
in
seen
my
that.
opinion.
Honestly, before CrimeCon, I didn't even know who Mike King was, and I still don't know who Mike King is. I watched his 1-hour session, and I actually went to a meet and greet with him, got a picture with him, and Mike Watkiss and Mike King go way back. So I asked Mike Watkiss about him. He said he's a good guy, and they go way back. That's all he said.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, March of 1990, the Task Force on Ritual Abuse was created in March of 1990 by the Utah Governor's Commission for Women and Families in conjunction with members of the Utah State Task Force on Child Sexual Abuse. A few months prior, the issues of ritual abuse in Utah. Ritual abuse.
I want to say this conjoins with Bishop Glenn Pace and the Strengthening Church Members Committee.
It is very, very similar timing. Like it is.
I'm gonna have to look at the names that are used in the Glenn Pace thing.
Yeah.
Because that sounded so from when I heard you say it, you know, like sometimes reading it and listening to it are two different things. So for me, it just kind of
Task Force on Child Sexual Abuse. The timing is the exact same. The timing is like
true. March
parallel
1990.
timing. Yeah.
So Mike King, I mean, could maybe, know a lot about this.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. A few months prior, the issues of ritual abuse in Utah were brought to the attention. Okay, a few months prior. So that may be the Glenn Pace memo that brought the issues of ritual abuse in Utah were brought to the attention of members at a meeting of the Child Sexual Abuse Task Force. Since that committee had been operating for some time and was well into its work, members agreed that a separate group should be formed which could study the issue.
Is that the Strengthening Members Church Committee? That if so, I already feel like it is. Whatever. Well, here the broad aims of the group.
So
okay.
before we get into this, do you want to cut off before Colby gets into his?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going live in 6 minutes. So
Okay.
maybe this would be a good breaking point.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, because we got way many more to go.
Right. So we have more diving to do into this.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that one aspect we just maybe stumbled across.
Yeah, absolutely. The timing is like the timing is right there. The timing is there.
And it seems like that would be what would happen. And it makes me wonder like why they tasked Glenn Pace to do the memo. Why him? Because Justin said that his career, was going up and then it just kind of went down after that.
Yeah, maybe it almost feels like do you remember the movie A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and
I don't remember details.
Me More. So Tom Cruise was like a used car salesman attorney for the JAG with the Navy. And
Gotcha.
we have this big case coming out of Guantanamo Bay where a Marine was killed by two other Marines who gave him a code red.
Could he handle the truth?
Exactly. Yes, that's the one. But at some point in the movie, Tom Cruise says, why would a young JAG lawyer with almost no experience be asked to handle a murder case in a court-martial hearing? Would it be because they don't want to see the inside of a courtroom? And so then he makes the decision to go see the inside of a courtroom and to try the case.
Wow.
So
okay.
Was that it with Glenn Pace? Was he like this little meek little like calculator accountant guy, and we're going to give him this thing and he's just going to be like me. Okay, here's your report. Let's move on. And he didn't do that.
I mean, he did it, but they didn't do anything with it. But it's like to put their fillers out there, send someone in the field to do the dirty work, and then come back and then do nothing with it because it wasn't until it was spilled, till it was leaked, till it was leaked, that, I mean, it even came to the public view, the public mind.
Yeah. So I'm going to drop the link to Colby's live in chat. There's Colby's live for everybody. I have a big interview coming up this weekend.
What you got?
Brittany Valdez, who is the mother of London Valdez, has agreed to a second interview.
No,
And
right.
there have been a few developments in the investigation. And there will be another one coming out later this week that we're going to talk about, but we're going to more. It's awesome to talk about London and to get the publicity out about her. So that was very gracious of her to agree to a second interview. We have Libby Dubadé.
Thank you.
Thank you, Libby Dubadé. I love that name.
I can't say it still. And I got you, Huggy Bear. I just typed out the damn message. But anyways,
All right.
I suck at doing two things at one time. It's not my thing. But anyways, wow, this is an early night. Yay. Oh, we did it.
Let's go over and watch Colby's live. Thank you
Yes.
for hanging out with me. I'm glad we got another Tuesday night in before we skipped one. We couldn't skip another one. That's no good.
I know. I felt like a fish out of water. You know, I was like, well,
Yeah.
damn. But I understood. You had to get some packing done.
Right.
Um,
You know how we always end these.
Wait, hold on. Here. I just found.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my
Does
gosh.
it have. Wait, it don't have volume. Okay. Does it? Oh, yeah. But it don't have any. I'm trying to make it go back. Because we don't know. Tylee might have died on September 8th or September 9th.
To the Y, to the L, to the double E.
Oh, my gosh. That's adorable.
Yeah.
So happy birthday. No, it's not
Well,
birthday.
not
It's-
yet.
Yeah.
It'll
no,
be the end of this month.
right. But
Her birthday. Yep.
yeah.
Anyway. Love always wins. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, Joe, and Brandon. I've been sticking together this Melanie Boudreaux of all the things, okay? All the things. Part of not oh my gosh. Not rumor and speculation, but facts, calls, what things that were said. It sounds like this. Well, hold on.
Conspiracy timeline. Charles
It's
Bellows'
boring.
death, Brandon Boudreaux attempted murder, and children's deaths. This timeline
And it just goes. Hold on.
imploring her not to leave town for a wedding, stating Alex is present and Charles will be over in the morning. July 11, 2019.
That's how it goes, Anyway, so I've been working on that. It takes me forever to edit. I get tired. It makes me like fall asleep because I'm looking down at my phone and I'm like, my eyes are hanging, and then I'm like,
Right.
passed out. That's what I do. Anyways,
Okay.
thanks for doing this with me.
Thank you, Krish. I appreciate you so much. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a good night. Love always wins.
Yeah.
Good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Good evening. Come and find you a seat. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime. We can make a difference if we put in the time. Oh, we can make a difference if we put in the time. Grab yourself a cup of joe and put up your feet. Let's talk about the latest news and all about true crime.